People love to say they know you. They watch you bleed, watch you cry, and then they tell themselves, oh, I've got them all figured out. They're harmless, predictable. Ha, predictable, that's their favorite lie about you. But deep down, you know something they don't you? That fire, that ugly, raging storm inside you. The one you keep choking down. Oh, it's there. And you're sitting on it like it's a broken chair, hoping it doesn't snap, praying it doesn't spill. But here's the kicker. It's already cracking. And that's good, because predictable people, they're the ones who die first. The ones who play by the rules, smile when they're supposed to, bow their heads and say thank you even as they're being spit on. They're just placeholders, filling space. But you're not a placeholder, are you? Let me tell you a little secret. People don't care about who you are. They care about what they can take from you, your time, your energy, your trust. Oh, trust. That's their favorite currency, isn't it? They build you up just enough to knock you down harder. They'll take every piece of you and then blame you for not being whole. It's hilarious, really. They're the ones who burn you, and then they complain about the ashes. And you let them. You hand them the matches, don't you? Smile while they light the fuse. But I'll tell you this. The old you, the one that begs, pleads, trusts that version of you, it has to die. And it won't be pretty. No funeral, no tears, no goodbye letters. It'll hurt like hell, ripping yourself apart, clawing through every lie you told yourself just to survive. But here's the thing. When the old you dies, that's when they start falling. Oh, they'll panic. They'll say, you've changed. That's the point. They're not afraid of you changing. They're terrified of you realizing you never needed them, that you've been carrying them, their weight, their guilt, their shame, like some packed mule. And now you're shrugging it off. You're walking away, lighter, sharper, meaner. You know what happens when you stop being their puppet? They scramble, they claw at you, they try to drag you back. Because without you, they're nothing. Parasites, leeches, and when they can't pull you down, oh, they'll do the next best thing. They'll tear themselves apart trying. That's the beauty of it. Their downfall doesn't start when you fight back. It starts the moment you stop. Stop explaining yourself. Stop justifying your pain. Stop being their victim. You're not here to be liked. Forget that. Forget their approval, their applause. It's a trap. You think the wolf cares if the sheep fear it? No, the wolf feeds. It hunts. And you, my friend, are a wolf that's been wearing sheep's wool for far too long. Tear it off. Show them the teeth. Show them what happens when you've got nothing left to lose. But don't get sloppy. Don't let that fire blind you. Be precise. Make every move a lesson. Every step a warning. Let them see you rise, not because you're better, but because you're smarter. You learned. You adapted. And when they're choking on their own regret, you won't need to say a word. Silence, it's the loudest revenge. And don't think this is over when you walk out of here. No, no, no. This is just the beginning. The moment you decide to let the old you die, that's the moment you take control. And trust me, once you do, they won't know what hit them. But you're still scared, aren't you? Scared of what happens next? Scared of who you'll become? That's the funniest part. People like you've been fighting your whole life just to survive. The idea of living, that terrifies you. You've spent so long in the dark. You've convinced yourself the light will burn you, but it won't. You'll burn them. You're afraid they'll hate you? That's rich. Hate is easy. Love, that's the lie. It's the leash they wrap around your neck, the sweet little word they use to make you kneel. But hate, oh, hate is honest. It's real. It's the one emotion they can't fake. So let them hate you. Let them spit your name like it's poison. Because guess what? Poison doesn't hurt the snake, does it? And you? Oh, you're going to become something they've never seen before. Their favorite nightmare isn't that you hurt them. No, that's too simple, too quick. You're going to haunt them. Every time they look in the mirror, they'll see the version of you they destroyed. And then they'll see the version of you they couldn't kill. That's what scares them the most. Not your anger, not your strength, but your survival. Because it proves they don't have power over you anymore. You've been running on fumes for so long, haven't you? Scraping by, taking just enough to get through the day. But here's the thing. You've got more in you than they'll ever know. And when you tap into that, when you stop holding back, that's when you become unstoppable. You'll take the hits, you'll bleed, but you'll keep moving. And that's what breaks them. Watching you rise when they were so sure they buried you. Oh, they'll try to take credit. We made you strong, they'll say. Ha, what a joke. They didn't make you, they tried to break you. And when they couldn't, they got scared. That's why they'll come crawling back. Begging, pleading, offering apologies that sound more like excuses. But you won't need their words. Words are cheap. You'll take their silence, their fear, their regret. That's your victory. But here's the catch, you can't half-ass this. You can't cling to the old you while trying to become something new. You've got to burn it all down. Every lie, every excuse, every bit of guilt they shoved into your hands like it was your burden to carry. Drop it. Let it fall. Let it burn. Because the only way out of this is through it. And you're not walking. You're running. You're going to become the kind of person who doesn't just survive storms, you create them. The kind of person who doesn't wait for permission, doesn't ask for forgiveness. You take what you want, and you don't look back. That's not selfish. That's survival. And the people who call it selfish, they're the same ones who tried to chain you down. So let them talk. Let them judge. Their words are just noise. And you're the silence that swallows it. And don't you dare let them guilt you into shrinking back. Oh, you've changed. Yeah, you have. That's the whole point. Change isn't something you apologize for. It's something you wield like a weapon. And you're not just changing. You're evolving, becoming sharper, harder, untouchable. They'll try to understand it, but they can't. People like them, they live in boxes. Safe little boxes with walls made of fear and routine. But you're about to set that box on fire. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to stand up, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally. You're going to stand so tall, they'll have to crane their necks just to see you. And you're not going to shout or scream or beg for their attention. No, you're going to let your actions do the talking. Every step you take, every move you make, it's going to remind them of one thing. You're not theirs anymore. You never were. And when they come crawling back, when they choke on the ashes of the bridge they burned, you're not going to help them. You're not going to save them. You're going to watch as they fall apart, trying to piece together a version of you that doesn't exist anymore. Because the old you, the one that bent, that broke, that begged, that version of you is gone, dead. And in its place is something they can't touch, something they can't destroy. You're still not getting it, are you? You think this is about revenge? Ha! Revenge is for amateurs. Small minds with smaller visions. You want them to feel what you felt, to suffer like you did? Fine, but don't waste your time swinging wildly. No. This isn't about hitting back. It's about making them watch. Watch as you build something so terrifyingly real, so untouchably strong, that it makes their small, miserable lives look like a joke. That's how you win. You don't want them to cry, tears dry. You don't want them to apologize. Apologies are just words they use to save themselves. Not you. What you want, what you need, is for them to sit in silence, haunted by the echo of the person they tried to destroy. You want their nights to be sleepless, their days restless, because no matter where they turn, there you are, not the version of you they could control, but the version of you they fear. You know what really scares them? It's not your anger. No. Anger is temporary. It burns hot and fast, and then it's gone. What terrifies them is your silence, your indifference, because when you stop caring, that's when they realize they don't matter anymore. And people like them, oh, they can't handle that. Their whole game, their whole power comes from making you react. But when you stop reacting, that's checkmate. Picture this, you walk into a room and they're there. The same people who tore you apart, who fed on your pain like it was their daily bread. But now they can't meet your eyes. They'll look anywhere but at you, because your presence, it's a reminder of what they lost, of what they'll never have again. That's not power you take, it's power you become. But don't get soft. Don't let them worm their way back in. Oh, I've changed, they'll say. I'm sorry. They're not sorry for what they did. They're sorry they didn't finish the job, that they couldn't break you enough to keep you crawling back. So let them choke on their regrets. Let them drown in the life they tried to build on your suffering. You don't owe them forgiveness. You owe yourself freedom. And freedom? Oh, it's not what they tell you it is. ripping yourself apart and putting the pieces back together in a way they can't even recognize. It's looking in the mirror and finally seeing someone who doesn't need their validation. That's what scares them. Not the fire in your eyes, but the fact that they can't extinguish it. You've spent so long worrying about what they think of you, haven't you? Every move, every word, every choice, it was all about them. Trying to prove something, trying to earn something. But here's the truth. You don't owe them a damn thing. Not your time, not your energy, not even your anger. Let them wonder what you're thinking. Let them stew in their own confusion, their own guilt. It's not cruelty, it's justice. And here's the best part, you don't need to tell them anything. No big speeches, no dramatic exits, just disappear. Let the silence speak for you. Let your absence be the loudest thing in their lives. At first, they won't understand. They'll think you're playing a game. But when they realize you're gone for good, that's when it hits. That's when the panic sets in. Because they thought they owned you, controlled you. And now they're left with nothing but the ghost of who you used to be. And you'll be free. Not because they let you go, but because you walked away. Because you chose yourself over them. That's the power they'll never have, the power to choose. They're stuck in their own games, their own lies. But you've moved on, grown, evolved. You see, they might have hurt you, but it's you who decides whether the wounds become scars or chains. And right now, you're still holding on to those chains, still tracing the marks they left behind like they define you. But let me tell you something, they don't. Those marks, they're just proof you survived, proof you're still here, proof they didn't win. And if you let those chains drag you down, if you let those scars define you, you're handing them the victory they couldn't claim themselves. You're stronger than that. But strength doesn't come from pretending it doesn't hurt. Strength comes from facing it, from dragging all that pain, all that fear, all that doubt into the light and saying, yeah, you were there, but you don't own me anymore. You can't keep running from it. You can't keep stuffing it down, hoping it'll just fade. It won't. It'll fester. It'll grow. It'll rot you from the inside out until you're nothing but a hollow shell that can crush all over again. You've got to face it. All of it. That's the battle you're fighting. Not against them, not against the world, but against the parts of you they've twisted, the parts they've tried to claim. And when you win that battle, that's when you'll finally be free. But freedom doesn't come cheap. It's going to hurt. It's going to rip you apart. There will be days when it feels like you're losing, like you're breaking all over again. But you've got to remember this. Every step forward, no matter how small, is a step away from them. A step toward the person you're meant to be. And that person, oh, they're going to terrify everyone who ever tried to break you. Because the you they tried to destroy was just the beginning. The real you, the one who rises from the ashes, who learns to wield every wound as a weapon, every scar as a shield, that's someone they'll never be able to touch. And when they see that, when they see the strength, the resilience, the unstoppable force you've become, that's when they'll finally realize the truth. They didn't make you strong, they made you angry. And it's that anger, that fire, that's forged you into something they'll never understand, something they'll never control. So stop hesitating, stop doubting, stop letting them live rent-free in your head, planting seeds of guilt and fear. Rip those weeds out by the roots, burn the soil, and when you're done, don't look back. Not for them, not for the past, not for anyone who tried to keep you small, because you're not small. You're a force of nature, and they're nothing but a footnote in your story. A story that's only just beginning. So write it with fire, write it with steel, write it with every ounce of strength they never thought you had. And when they try to crawl back, when they try to whisper their excuses and apologies, smile. Not because you forgive them, but because you don't need them. And that's what will haunt them forever. Now go. You've got a world to conquer. Anything. You have to take it. You have to build it. And that means shedding every ounce of weight that's been holding you down. Every doubt, every fear, every voice that told you you can't. Because here's the truth. You can. You already have. You're still here, aren't you? Breathing, standing, fighting. The old you fought tooth and nail to get you to this point. But now it's your turn to fight for what comes next. You're not going to survive anymore. You're going to thrive. But thriving means change. It means leaving behind everything and everyone who can't or won't keep up with the person you're becoming. It means walking away from the comfort of the familiar and stepping into the unknown. It means becoming unapologetically, undeniably you. And that's the part they fear the most. Not your strength, not your anger, not even your success. What terrifies them is your freedom. Because when you're free, truly free, they lose all power. They can't touch you. They can't control you. They can't even understand you. They'll try, of course. They'll claw at you, cry for you, beg you to come back. They'll wrap their words in pretty packages of regret and nostalgia, hoping you'll take the bait. But you won't, because the person you're becoming doesn't need their validation, doesn't crave their approval, doesn't bend to their whims. The person you're becoming is a storm, untamed, unrelenting, and unstoppable. So let them hate, let them fear, let them drown in the sea of their own making, because this isn't their story. It never was. This is your story, and it's time you started writing it the way you were always meant to. No half measures, no compromises, no looking back. Burn it all and rise. Yes, you're just getting started. This isn't the end of your journey. It's the beginning of something they could never comprehend. The world may not cheer for your transformation, but it doesn't matter. You're not here for applause, for approval, or for their understanding. You're here because you refuse to stay chained, silenced, or small. They'll see your rise and call it arrogance. They'll see your strength and call it coldness. They'll see your freedom and call it selfish. Let them, because every name they call you, every whisper they spread, every attempt they make to pull you back, it's all proof. Proof that you've shaken them, that you've stepped out of their shadow, that you've become more than they ever imagined. And that smile, the one they'll hate so much, it's not for them, it's for you. Because deep down, you'll know the truth. You didn't just survive them, you outgrew them. They'll keep trying to figure out how to beat you, not realizing you've already left their game. While they're stuck reliving the past, you'll be out there creating a future they can't touch, can't control, can't destroy. So rise, keep rising, not out of spite, not out of anger, but because it's who you are now, stronger, wiser, untouchable. And don't waste a single moment looking back. They don't deserve your regret, your forgiveness, or your time. Let them sit with their memories, their guilt, their stories about who you were. Because while they're clinging to a version of you that no longer exists, you'll be living as the person they never thought you could become. Their downfall began the moment the old you died. And you're just getting started.